To be serving as your minister this morning. I'm going to begin with our reading. Love Poems from God is our book of the month, 12 sacred voices from the East and West, translated by a phenomenal human being named Daniel Ladinsky. I have two poems to share with you today. The first is written by Meister Eckhart, who lived in the 12 to early 1300s, I think. And he was a Catholic monk, he was a scholar, and he was a deep, rich, powerful mystic. And he wrote this poem called Love Does That. All day long, a little burro labors, sometimes with heavy loads on her back, and sometimes just with worries about things that bother only burros. And worries, as we know, can be more exhausting than physical labor. Once in a while, a kind monk comes to her stable and brings a pear. But more than that, he looks into the burro's eyes and touches her ears. And for a few seconds, the burro is free, and even seems to laugh, because love does that. Love frees. And our second poem this morning is missing. Here it is. Our second poem this morning is by St. John of the Cross, who was also a mystic and a monk, I think in the 1400s. I might be wrong about that. He was from Spain, and he was a Carmelite. And he wrote a poem called A Rabbit Noticed My Condition. This is for you, Monica. She has a bunny, in case you don't know. I was sad one day and went for a walk. I sat in a field. A rabbit noticed my condition and came near. It often does not take more than that to help at times, to just be close to creatures who are so full of knowing, so full of love, that they don't chat. They just gaze with their marvelous understanding. Now, I actually have a free bonus poem today. It's not from this book, but it is written by one of the authors in this book. It's called The Happy Virus, and it was written by Hafiz, a Sufi mystic. This translation is from the book called The Subject Tonight is Love, and the poem is called The Happy Virus. I caught the happy virus last night when I was out singing beneath the stars. It is remarkably contagious, so kiss me. I'm going to invite you to join me in today's reading. The circle of love is complete. Please stand and with conviction, join me in this longish but amazing affirmation. The circle of love is complete. It comprehends all, includes all, and binds all together with cords of everlasting unity. I cannot depart from its presence, nor wander from its care. My love is complete within me. The love of God binds me to itself and will not let me go. I make a home for you, oh my wonderful love, and we journey through life hand in hand. I sit in your presence and learn the wondrous things you will tell me. For you are God. The circle of love is complete. All these other people, Sean and David and Osama and Cats, I know her name, honestly, and of course our beloved Becca, who kind of makes my day. Many, many Sundays of the year I give thanks for her. How about you? Yeah? Yeah. So yesterday, not yesterday, day before yesterday. See, I don't even know what day it is. Day before yesterday, I was on an airplane, Denver to Seattle, 2.5 hours. And in the seat right ahead of me was a child, perhaps 2.5 years old, maybe a little older than that. Next to her was her dad, and in the next seat over was her brother, who was maybe 6. This child was adored by everyone for 5 rows around. And I got to sit in row 23, seat C, and bask in this aura, this energy, this liveliness of love all around me. And it emanated all from seat 22C. It was an amazing experience. Now, I reflected on this experience because what have we been talking about all week? All month? Love. All week. I've been talking about it all week too. So all month long, we've been talking about love. And the first Sunday, when we started talking about love, we defined love in a couple of different ways. We looked at what Charles Fillmore said love was. He said that love is an inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everyone. Love insists that all is good. By refusing to see anything but good, love causes good to finally appear. Love insists on being itself, on seeing good, on being good. Perfectly sober, honest. Can't explain it. Love, Ernest Holmes told us, is the self-givingness of spirit to itself. That is, infinite spirit is, what do we say? We say God is love, right? That love has created itself in, as, and through us, and so we are created of love. Love is the self-givingness of spirit to itself, which is me. What is God? God is love. What does God do? God loves. That's it. In what image am I created? I am created in the image and likeness of love. And so what is mine to do? Mine is to do as God does. Mine is to love because, as Jesus taught us, the Father within does the work. The Spirit is in me. I am born of love, and so I love because I am created out of love to be love. And love flows naturally from me as I surrender to that internal spirit and allow it to live my life for me. And then life gets really a lot easier, right? And we've been taught a lot of stuff about love, haven't we? I want to invite you right now to forget everything you've ever learned about love. Because everything we've ever learned about love does not help us understand God quality love. Unconditional positive regard for everyone and everything. Unconditional positive regard that insists upon good. And so forget everything you've ever learned about love and anchor in the awareness that unconditional positive regard, love, is the essence of who you are. And then begin to build the consciousness of love. Because I don't know about you, I've learned a lot about love over the years. How about you? And a lot of what I've learned about love is pretty darn dysfunctional and not unconditional positive regard. Forget all that. Begin to build the consciousness of love in your heart and in your mind. Remember who you belong to and where you come from. Insist on seeing the good. And last week we talked about loving from our worthiness, knowing that we are worthy of love and we are worthy of loving fully and completely. That was a pretty good one, huh? I got a couple notes on last week's. That was pretty nice. So 2 days ago, I was on this airplane, and there was this emanation of love in the seat right ahead of me. And at one point, she kind of peeked up over the seat, and she's looking at me. And, you know, what do you do when this adorable, dark-eyed child with big hair, and you go, you know, and she goes, and you go, and she goes, right? And so we played around for a little while. And at one point, her dad, you know, was like, what does she do? Oh, okay, we're good, right? And what I began to think about as she eventually got bored with me and turned around and went back to her Disney extravaganza on the seat back in front of her is I started to think about who she is. I don't know this child's name. I don't know where she comes from. I know she's somewhere between Denver and Seattle. That's all I got. And I started to wonder, what will you become? Who will you be one day? And will you always be as loved as you are on this airplane right now? And it made me think about what we do in order to get other people to love us. You know what she was doing to get me to love her? And she even squawked a few times, and I still loved her. This child was literally doing nothing to attract love from 5 rows around, other than being herself, authentically who she is. She was with me, and then she decided Disney was more interesting. She was simply being who she is and remembering on some level what she belongs to. But what do we ask of others in order for them to get us to love them? Most of the time, I think what we do is we ask them to do what we want them to do. And if they do what we want them to do, we love them. And if they don't do what we want them to do, we don't love them. Is this familiar to anyone? But this notion of earning love, this notion that others must earn our love, or that I must earn the love of others, is a human idea. And if indeed we are created in the image and likeness of the living one, the infinite presence, let us get the idea of the living one, the infinite presence. Let us get the God idea, set aside the human idea of, you're not good enough for me to love you, or I'm not good enough to receive your love. Set that aside and get the God idea. Love as God loves, or catch the happy virus. I was out singing beneath the stars. I caught the happy virus. It's contagious. Kiss me. This child had the happy virus, didn't she? And everybody around her was getting happy. And I did, man. I wanted to kiss her big. This child was simply letting her light shine. She was simply being who she is. She was duplicating the nature. You hear me say this all the time. Our only job here on planet Earth is to duplicate the nature of spirit, to become more godlike, to practice, to build a consciousness of godness, of goodness, and in this case, specifically this month, of love. Let your light shine. Let your love shine. Let your love light shine. Oh my gosh, there's got to be a song in there somewhere. I heard somebody say, I was at a conference last week, that's why I was on an airplane, and I heard somebody say last week, God loves you just the way you are, but it doesn't want you to stay that way. Because how you are is perfect, whole, and complete for today. But there is something greater for you to be tomorrow. And tomorrow, God loves you just the way you are. And you know what? Yesterday, when you did some crummy thing, anybody ever done a crummy thing? God loves you just the way you are. It just doesn't want you to stay that way. We are here to evolve and learn and grow, and so that we can be a mechanism for love here on planet Earth, which is really why we're here. We transform ourselves and others by embracing the power of love to make the world a better place. So there was this child on the airplane who was simply being the presence of love, and got me to wondering, what is it that makes us want to love her so much? And I began to realize that, the thing about love is that love always says yes, doesn't it? Love always says yes. What else always says yes? Come on, students. The law. Right? You guys are great. Thank you. Good job, students. Love always says yes. And so if we think about the creative process, we build consciousness, we create a divine idea in our minds, we capture an idea, and we affirm that idea, and we lean into that idea, and the law says yes. And we manifest the divine idea in the form of our lives, right? So if we could actually substitute the word love for law, because in the same way, love always says yes. If a divine idea is anchored in love, as we build the consciousness of love, as we anchor in love, love always says yes. And we create a fuller and a brighter and a more purposeful and a transformed experience of life. Because we are bringing the godness of love into human form. Anybody want to experience more love? Anybody want to just be loved? Like, I don't have to do anything. I want to be the kid in the seat that everybody loves. So, Ernest Holmes talked about love and law. He said love points the way and law makes the way possible. Love points us in the right direction for manifesting good in the world. Love points us in the right direction for manifesting justice and peace in the world. Love points us in the right direction for behaving in ways that are life-affirming, not just for me, but for everyone. Love points the way to embracing and loving our planet rather than beating it up all day. Love points the way to behaving in ways that forward life, that open our hearts to living more fully, and that provide a place for everyone, and a life that works for everyone. Love points the way, and law makes the way possible by saying yes. And then, if love and law are really the same thing, do you see how you're kind of getting double duty? You're getting super energized power for the infinite yes. To transforming not just your life, but the life of your neighbor, and the life of your neighbor's neighbor, and the life of the planet, and the life of people who don't have food, and the life of people who are discriminated against. Got it? Now go be it. See, we got to be like the little girl in seat 22C. Let's play peekaboo. Let's wave. Let's be in relationship with one another in a way that is peaceful and easy. You see, I like to think of, let's say it this way. We talk about God as love, right? We also talk about God as intelligence, the intelligence that birthed the universe. Is infinite intelligence, the intelligence that can have millions and billions of solar systems and everything's rotating in perfect harmony. That's pretty darn smart, right? See, that is God quality intelligence that is beyond not just being smart, but intelligence that can direct a universe. And in love is the same thing. We lift love out of the human experience, the human idea of love, and we call it God love, unconditional positive regard for all things. And I have this idea that if we marry love and intelligence, we get wisdom. And we begin to behave wisely in the world. We begin to take action that is life-affirming. We begin to express more fully that charge. You see, we are here on planet Earth with a charge. We're not here to watch movies, you guys. I mean, not that I don't enjoy a good movie, but we are not here to watch television and eat and work out and go to work. That's not why we're here. Yes, that's the trappings of what we do, but why we are here is to love. We carry the God love into human experience for ourselves and for others. That is, as Charles Fillmore says, love insists, God insists on seeing good in, as, and through all things. See with the eye of wisdom, the eye of love, the eye of intelligence, and be as a little child in 22C. I'm just saying. And here's what I loved about this child. We land in Seattle, taxi to the gate, and Dad's saying, okay, you guys pack up your stuff. And she says, I'm not going. I'm standing up by now. I'm watching her in her little seat. And she's like, and she's pointing to the screen where she's been watching, And I look down and I realize here's this child in this seat that for her is roomy and comfy, and she can crawl around, and she can, and she's got endless Disney, and she's got me in the back seat playing, whatever that game is with her. She's got a flight attendant bringing her snacks on demand. She's got a little juice bottle. She's got a bag of cherries. I'm not going. It was so adorable, you guys. I almost cried. It was so cute. But here's what I come to understand when I think about her. We're here and we're in our little seat 22C. And yeah, it's a little tight. Me, it's for her. She got all kind of for me. I'm like squished in there. But we're here in our seat 22C, and it's comfortable, and it's safe, and we got snacks and Disney, and Dad's sitting right next to us, and everything is good, right? And we're called to go out in the world and carry our life energy, our love, forth in the world. And what do we say? I'm not going. I got my Netflix, I got my partner, things are good enough. I got my snacks, go out to dinner a couple times a month, life is good. I'm not going. We are called to get off the plane and do the work. We are called to be the presence of love in the world, to practice, to open our hearts more fully than we ever have before to the loving presence that is right where we are. We just missed it because we were so involved with Netflix. Are you ready to go out in the world and be the God presence of love, to insist on seeing good in all people and in all places and in all events? Are we willing to become the child on the plane, but getting off and carrying it forth? And so let's seal this message with a little visualization. Let's seal this message by creating the consciousness of love. You caught that? Right? We create the consciousness of love, and then we live love in the world. So join me in the sacred breath right now. Breathing in and out effortlessly and easily. Breathing in. I breathe in love. I breathe out and I smile. I breathe in love. I breathe out and I smile. I breathe in love. I breathe out and I smile. And right here in the breath, we find the very breath of God. We find the life of God, the essence of God in our breath. The endless cycle of reception and release, the divinity within us giving life. Expressing effortlessly, I breathe in God, I breathe out, and I smile, for I know that love is right where I am, and I insist on its expression in my life. And so, anchored in this affirmation of truth, I invite you now to bring to mind a place where you could be more loving, a place where you could expand your consciousness of your ability to be the presence of love, perhaps a difficult situation, a challenging person. something in your life that is bringing up feelings unlike love. Bring that to mind right now. And now bring to mind the little girl in seat 22C. Her innocence, her joy, her easiness with the things of life. Bring to mind the love that emanated from her for 5 rows around. And allow yourself to remember and realize that was once you. You too once loved effortlessly and easily. You too once allowed the divine flow of spirit to live as you. And so you breathe into that awareness now. Remembering, recalling the spiritual truth of who you are. And allow that feeling to expand within you until it becomes completely real. You know love. You are love. You be love. And you feel your heart and your mind open more and more fully to this truth and to this way of being in your life. And you turn now to this difficult or this challenging situation, and you simply become a radiant beam of light, the light of love. And you cast this light forward from you over this entire situation, this person, this experience. And you feel the love that God is pouring through you as you now. And out into the world, transforming your experience, playing peekaboo with your difficulties, waving innocently. I breathe in love, I breathe out, and I smile. And now see yourself leaving this place transformed. Leaving this place effortlessly walking in the faith that you know how to love. You know who and whose you are. And you walk in loving confidence every moment of every day. And so I close this message with a grateful heart and simply allow the truth to be all that it is. I give thanks for the open hearts that have heard it. I give thanks for the transforming power of love to bring us to a new awareness, a new consciousness of truth. I give thanks for it all, and I let it be. And so it is. Amen.